Hello, my name is Tony and today I'm going to be looking at the world of Callan. In the early 60s, James Bond hit the big screen and kicked off a major upsurge of spy and espionage related media, books, films and TV. Ah yes, the golden years of James Bond. Back then, men wanted to be him and women wanted to fuck him. In these modern, more enlightened times, seems men want to fuck him and women want to be him. The seedier side of Cold War espionage had been portrayed earlier in things like the Harry Palmer and John le Carré films and novels. But Callan, especially in the black and white days, was the seediest and most morally conflicted representation yet. More seedier than a seed cake on a seed bed in a seed-based theme park called World of Seed. It looked and felt like a bleak kitchen sink drama, only with more violence and death. David Callan and the TV series he appeared in were the brainchild of writer James Mitchell. Both character and series became a successful phenomenon in the late 60s and early 70s and made a star of Edward Woodward. Conceived as the ultimate flip side to Bond, Callan was a reluctant spy, a veteran combatant of Malaya dishonorably discharged from the army, a career criminal, an ex-con. He winds up blackmailed into working for the section, the sharp end of Cold War espionage. A crack shot with a pistol and a multiple murderer. He gets the dirty jobs. The section is all about damage limitation by whatever means necessary, and is run by a series of different bureaucrats with the same codename, Charlie Hunter. The aim of the section is to make people toe the line. It's the murkiest end of the espionage pond. Hunter's filing system is simple. Targets fit into either a yellow or red category. Yellow means surveillance, red means they can be smeared, tortured, blackmailed, framed or murdered. The headquarters for the section is in a disused primary school in a scrapyard. Yeah, classy. Callan's only friend, a pathetic and perpetually nervous thief called Lonely, played by Russell Hunter, is like something straight out of the pages of Dickens. Their interactions are full of dramatic pathos and distorted humanity, defined by Callan's cruel jibes about Lonely's body odor problem and his, at times, frightening aggression towards him. In response, Lonely reciprocates with awestruck fear and respect for the man who is the only person who actually cares about him. For despite all, Callan does everything he can to protect Lonely, because Lonely is in fact the only person in the world who really cares about Callan. Essentially, Callan has a conscience, and it bothers him. He regularly questions and rebels against authority, hates his life but has no other options open. No wonder I identify. He is a working-class thug and peerless killer with a sharp brain and a fractured psyche. He should perhaps be perceived as a monster, but his inherent humanity and convincingly empathic personality flaws render him completely relatable and sympathetic. Although the series made a star of Edward Woodward, US audiences will probably remember him best as Robert McCall in the 1985 series The Equalizer. Personally, I sort of wished that The Equalizer had been Callan in America seeking redemption for past transgressions. But it wasn't to be, and McCall was framed as an ex-CIA operative. So that's that. All surviving episodes of Callan are available on 2 DVD box sets, the monochrome years 1967 to 69 and the inventively titled The Color Years 1970 to 72. Of the 60s black and white series, 9 teleplays have been lost for all time, the tapes reputedly wiped by some idiot Jobsworth at ITV. Those that remain, including the original introductory play, A Magnum for Schneider, depict a 60s London that definitely isn't all swinging and all dancing. It is bleak, grimy, downbeat and dangerous, full of squalid bedsits, creeping social paranoia and post-war depression. Callan lives in the shadows and life there is cruel, harsh and often painfully short. The colour episodes, all available and intact, are arguably less visually impactful than the monochrome ones, but still represent a masterclass in storytelling, plotting, drama, characterization and dialogue. This brings us to the 1974 movie version and the penultimate screen appearance of the character. The last time Callan appeared on screen was in the 1981 teleplay Wet Job, which despite being penned by Mitchell was unfortunately a bit lacking and not the most appropriate of swan songs for such a great creation. Plus, it has a music score by Cyril Ornadell that sort of makes you envy the deaf. Still, it was good to see him meet up with Lonely one last time and live on to fight another day. The movie is a retread of A Magnum for Schneider. A disgraced Callan has been kicked out of the section, working as a bookkeeper for an obnoxious businessman. This is just a setup for some wet work. Hunter has manipulated the situation to put Callan in close proximity with Schneider, a German industrialist based in the offices next door. He is rich, has Nazi connections, and he funds global terrorism. Callan is to get close to Schneider through their mutual love of playing war games, find and retrieve evidence of his activities, and kill him. But it's never that simple. Callan has to operate off the books, so the section has plausible deniability, so he's on his own. If he succeeds, Hunter promises to take him back into the section. It's a solid enough film, but workmanlike rather than inspired. Woodward, as always, is convincingly superb as the conflicted and tortured agent. Russell Hunter gives his usual authentic portrayal of the ultimate dweller on the fringes of society, a hapless crook habitually addicted to a hopeless life of crime. Toby Mears is this time played by a very smooth Peter Egan, the third actor to take on the role, and he's okay, but he's not a patch on Anthony Valentine, who truly nails and owns it. There are some memorable moments and lines of dialogue. After Callan kills the towering heavy Arthur, Dave Prose, with his bare hands, he tells Lonely that he hit him.
You hit Arthur?
The Lonely inquires incredulously. Callan replies,
I hit him, and he died of it.
It's a terrific little scene, beautifully played, with both actors conveying an entire range of affecting emotions in mere flickering seconds of screen time. At one later point, Hunter inquires, what about Mears? To receive the laconic and perfectly delivered response from Callan,
I think he's unconscious, but of course with me it is difficult to tell.
The writing is crisp and bone dry. There are sporadic bursts of realistic action, and the film overall has a pleasing, downbeat early 70s vibe. It captures certain elements of the TV series well, the sense of being close to what Cold War espionage might have been like, and it really would have benefited from reusing the original Jack Tromby Callan theme to add to the atmosphere. The jaunty harmonica and military band motifs here are no replacement for that slow, resonating guitar hook, Spartan strings and melancholic horns. Callan, the movie, remains a firm personal favourite for me, and the monochrome years and colour years DVD sets of the original series represent some of the best purchases I've ever made.
It's dead.
Well, it just goes to show, you can't take anything for granted.
There are 5 Callan novels available, all written by James Mitchell. A magnum for Schneider, also published under the title Red File for Callan, and republished again when the movie came out as Callan. Russian Roulette, Death and Bright Water, Smear Job, and Bonfire Night. If you're into Cold War espionage with that of their time so last century atmospheric, then they are recommended reading. Thanks for listening, whoever you are, wherever you may be. If you've derived some small enjoyment from this and are interested in similar in the future, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's a song called Let Me Speak to Charlie. Section conscience is killing me. Noguchi Magnum's got nothing to do with champagne. Men in black and men in grey, mandarins with white hole eyes, chemical warfare and gamma ray. Spies like us don't care who dies. Let me speak, let me speak, let me speak to Charlie. He's the one, he's the one, he's the one I need to talk to. In the cold, trigger finger getting itchy. Let's kill everybody.
Don't you push me too far with you, because I might just let myself be killed. And you won't be there to see it, because later I'll get you first. And I can do it. Believe me, I can do it.
Yes?
I love you with a sordid and overwhelming passion. But now I must speak to Charlie.
I am putting you through.
Goody.